experience, because that's why you guys are all in here. And then you can choose your grade level band, and then up here at the top you can see our different asset types. Depending on the type of asset that you're looking for, your left-hand subfilters are going to change. So a couple of assets that we have, like I mentioned before, are the channels. So the channels are the curated resources that are the best of the best, kind of in one place for you. There's channels for every subject area, and then specific concepts, as well as stuff that's frequently accessed are our big publishers like Weston Woods or the Magic School Bus. So that is all within channels. We also have videos, which is our most frequently accessed, but Discovery Ed is a lot more than videos. But as far as the videos go, there are a lot of really neat features with them. All of the resources within here you can add to your quick list. So that's like your Amazon shopping cart. If you want to save anything and access it your next class period, or if you want to kind of organize your day, you can put them right up here to quickly get those. Or if maybe you don't have time to plan with this reading passage, but you know you want to come back and look at it later, just a quick place for you to access it. And you can also get shareable links. So with the shareable links, you just need to make sure that the user you're sharing it with also has a Discovery Education login. And if you, like I mentioned before, if you guys get an integration with Google or Office 365, then you can share that link through those as well. You can also assign things directly to your students too. So once you have your student accounts in here, if you want to assign them a reading passage or an interactive activity, maybe an audiobook to listen to for your younger ones, then you can assign it directly to them. And from a student perspective, when they log in, anything you assign is going to be on the forefront right there for them when they log into the site. And then your last option over here is adding to my content folder. So we're going to talk a little bit today about curating our resources. And so this is also why it's really a good place for students to do research, because any resource within Discovery Education you guys can add to content folders, which I like to think about as basically a Google Drive folder. But this is really great for students because it helps them, they can organize their resources for a research project or something like that. These folders also can be shared directly to students or with other teachers at your school. And you can also create folders at the school level and the district level. So if you do any collaborative planning across grade levels, across different schools, then you can definitely kind of curate your resources and share them out with your staff. All of the videos you'll see underneath are tagged with some of the features. If you see that it's editable, that means that you guys have editing rights through Discovery Education to be able to edit that video. So if you want to do a project and do voiceovers with it with your students, you have that capability as well. And you can also, there's also closed captioning available. So if we click on any of the videos, most of them, if they're longer, like this one's 8 minutes, it will be segmented. So you can find certain, if you just want to pull a clip of it, you can go in and find the segment. You'll have a short little description as well as a transcript. So if you are looking and you can search the transcript. So if there's a certain vocabulary word, if you find a video and you're looking for a vocabulary word, you can search and see how frequently it's used. And all of the resources are also cited. So you can find the citations down here, MLA, APA, and Chicago. So again, really good place for students to do some safe vetted research. And then to get closed captioning, you'll just want to start playing the video and then press pause, and then you will have a little closed captioning icon over here where you can change the setting. Another feature that you'll see frequently throughout is Create with Studio. We're going to talk about Studio in a little bit, but that's a creation tool. So from a teacher perspective, that's something that you could take the resource and embed into an assignment platform and then assign that to your students with text or interactive features. From a student perspective, it's more of like a digital poster board or a project or a mini website that they can create. So you can take the resources directly that you find and attach them to a board and start creating live time. With Studio as well, we'll see when we go in today, you can also import external content, so it doesn't have to be Discovery Education resources. You can use the Builder tool for anything. So I'm going to go back to my blank search.
Does anybody have any questions? Just making sure. Everybody's good? Yes.
Yeah.
You would want to put it in your My Content.
I would say, yeah, if you want to keep them the subject separated, My Content would be a better thing, but on your day-to-day, if you, like the order that you teach those classes, you can drag and drop these and organize them like that, and so you can kind of put them in the order that you'd want to use them, so whatever is easier for you.
But a better long-term solution is to
Make the
list whatever you want for chemistry, and then dump that all in a folder chemistry, then clear it, then quick list what you want for physics, dump it into a folder in physics, then clear it. So use it as a temporary space to organize your folders. Thank you.
So along with videos, like we mentioned before, there are a lot of other resources in here that I don't think a lot of people know about or have access between images. With text, if we select text over here, on the left-hand side, my sub-filters have changed, and you can sort then by the type of text that you're looking for. Are you looking for a book? Are you looking for a reading passage or an encyclopedia article? You can also go down and find different grade levels and Lexile scores. So if you're using this as more of a remediation piece, this is a good place to come in and find some differentiated materials, and as well as different languages. You can search by year as well, so if you're looking for some newer content or certain publishers, then you certainly have that feature as well to filter by. We mentioned boards earlier. Is anyone in here familiar with Board Builder? Not really. So Board Builder was our old, our previous editing tool. So now whenever we talk about boards, it's Studio. That's the new version, the updated version. So if you wanted to come in and select board on the left-hand side and then select Studio Board, you can see all of the pre-made boards within here to get an example of what those look like. So this is one that's already created. At the top, we've got some directions. You can add text to this. It's incorporated some resources within it for students to read and watch some videos about. And then some of them will have interactive features where there might be a writing prompt that goes along with it or something for them to do. But with any of these pre-created boards, you have the ability to create your own copy. And then you can go in and edit it and switch out the resources. Maybe you like the template, but you just want to use a different video or maybe a different asset. Then you certainly have the opportunity to go in and edit it, and then you can assign and share with students. Or invite them to collaborate if they're working on a collaborative project.
So is that kind of the studio or the boards are kind of like a self-contained lesson? So you put all of your videos in one or your...
It definitely can be an assignment platform. You could put everything you want for your lesson within the board and then just assign that out to students. It's great too, like if you wanted to do homework or if they missed a class and you could assign it to them and that could be their makeup work. So it's definitely a good place for you to come in and it could be a lesson planning tool.
And we just added a new type of box that's a question answer box. So they can write directly on the board and you get those results. As long as you set them up in groupings in our system, then you can get the results in your My Classroom results. You're welcome.
And mentioned before that it can also be for students to come in and create projects as well. So either it's a very versatile tool that you guys have access to. So I'm going to go back in to my blank search. And a couple of other assets I want to highlight for you guys. Within audio, on the left-hand side, you'll see the different audio options. We have a ton of audiobooks within Discovery Education as well as podcasts. So some fun things is if you're a high school teacher, the podcasts in there are really great resources to access, along with sounds and sound effects and songs. With the songs, let me see if I can pull up Lodge McCannon. The songs will also have transcripts with them, so you can have the lyrics and do some literacy support with that as well. sorry, I'm trying to find a certain resource right now. I was trying to find a Lodge McCann, but it's okay, I'll go into
Just back
text.
up.
Back up?
I've done it a million times.
So here's an example of one of the songs that you guys can look for. Within here you have the capability to download, but there also comes with the teacher guide and the lyrics. So this is a great support. If you have younger kids and are building some literacy support within your lesson, you could come and print these out. Stuff with poetry. It also comes along with the teacher's guide. And then some activities for you to use with that audio as well with your students. So not just so much finding the song, but there's a lot of ways that you can, it supports you with that, using that song and implementing it in the classroom. Another one of the resources that you have access to are called interactives. And so if I do another blank search, I come down and I go to interactives. The way that I like to think about these are as if you had a traditional textbook with like a with an image of the water cycle. It's more of a manipulative and interactive activity with some of those concepts. So you can assign these to students as they go in and manipulate them. It's kind of a gamified version. It gives them some guided feedback or suggestions, tells them, you know, what if it's right or wrong. So you can find some really fun interactive activities here underneath interactive.
Can you show me how you get into that again?
Yeah, so I just did a blank search at the top. And then underneath the asset type right here where it says more, if you select interactives, you can find all of them within there, and then on the left you can filter on this side based on what you're looking for.
A search under more, right?
Underneath more. And then interactives, and then again you can search by grade level bands. Again, a good tool for differentiation, or if your students need any type of remediation on a certain concept, you can find within here and then assign it to them directly. So before we move away kind of from the certain asset types and look at some other things that Discovery Education has to offer, do you guys have any questions about resources or locating them? Perfect. So the next place that I want to take you guys is instructional strategies. This is our probably the biggest access thing within Discovery Education that we have. So, and along with the resources that we provide, we like to give you some support for utilizing them within the classroom. So the instructional strategies are meant to be paired with resources. It doesn't have to be Discovery Edu resources. They're very versatile across all subject areas, all grade levels. So when you go into the instructional strategies, they're organized based on the type of learning that you're trying to accomplish with your students. So if you guys are working on comparing and contrasting or summarizing key ideas, you can come in and find instructional strategies that help support that. And then you can pair it with a video, a audio book, an image, whatever it is. And so if we come into one of the instructional strategies, each of them is going to come with a short little 3-minute video. It's going to be a teacher explaining how you use this resource, what kind of, or how you use this strategy, what types of resources it pairs well with, as well as there will be a PDF, like a 1-page PDF that you guys can print out. I have a lot of schools who will teach or introduce a new instructional strategy at their professional development each week because it's very quick to introduce and take back to the classroom the next day. Instructional strategies also now have a couple new features as well. So I'm going to go back to where I can search for the types of instructional strategies. If you scroll down, we now have student-facing videos as well. So with the instructional strategies, we have these videos that you can show to students to introduce them and kind of make them a part of your regular routine. So for example, this one, AEIOU, and I'm not sure, the volume was being quiet earlier. So this is what the student-facing video looks like.
One of the first things you ever learned at school was probably A-E-I-O-U. Okay, and sometimes Y. Here's a fresh spin on A-E-I-O-U. And this one will help you summarize big ideas about what you learn, think about how it makes you feel, and note what you find interesting or have questions about. You'll need a piece of paper and something to write with. First,
so since you guys can't really hear what's going on, this will just be like the student-facing video.
Like this.
What?
A-E-I-O-U. Now, next to each letter, make a note of what it stands for. A is for adjective. An adjective is a word.
So A would be something, an adjective for students.
E is for emotion.
E,
This is
emotion.
where you'll note how something made you feel.
They'd write this down the side of their paper, which is what it was explaining before.
What did you
I
find
is for
interesting?
interesting, so as they watch a video, they're looking for something, an adjective, something that's exciting, something interesting, something that makes them go, oh, and then something that they have a question about after they watch the video. So you can differentiate these strategies too. It's not like a one way or one size fits all. If you wanted to give one group the A, one group the E, there's a lot of different ways that you can use these strategies and adapt them with your classroom. From an elementary perspective, what I think about when I think about SOS strategies is just elevated turn and talk. So a lot of them you probably have already heard or you've used, like icebreakers, 3 truths and a lie, but they're interesting ways to think about pairing with the resources to make them more meaningful than just playing the video and then having the students do a turn and talk after. So student-facing videos, we've got a couple released right now and we're in the process of developing more, so be on the lookout for those, but you can find them within this section as well. There's also graphic organizers that pair with some of the within strategies, so you can find the graphic organizers and then search our most popular. And my favorite part about the SOS is down here with the top 10 list. So we've typed in the top 10 strategies for developing literacy and put them in a one-page PDF that you can access and then find all those strategies that help support literacy for differentiating instruction, STEM, social emotional learning, college and career readiness. So a lot of those hot topics in education, like I said, these are very versatile. They could be used with a core subject, but they can be applied to anything. Do you guys have any questions about the instructional strategies? So that's a great question. There is not a grade level because the instructional strategies are so adaptive. So you can use them with any grade, any subject area, and just apply them how you see best fit. But they're more of a general use of helping pair with the strategy versus targeted for a certain grade. So the next place that I want to take you guys today is into the educator network over here. So we just created a new channel. I'm not sure if you guys are DEN members, so if you are, then this might be, or aren't, this might be a little bit new for you. But the DEN is our educator network, so we have educators all over the globe who are part of this network, just coming together, collaborating, sharing best practices. Again, it's discovery education related, but also can be external. We have a lot of teachers who have met on here and shared resources otherwise and just best practices. So it's a great place to come and connect with your colleagues and find out different ways that you could use discovery ed or to see what they're doing in their school and get ideas. So the first icon over here is the community conversation. We do a webinar each month in the evening that you can join and listen on. Hosted by our DEN stars and Emily Worth, who's going to be doing our next presentation here today. And The community conversations are great because each month is a different theme. So there was 1 month on differentiating instruction. There was 1 month on social emotional learning, and just getting ideas from other teachers and how they're using Discovery Education to support those hot topics. The next icon you'll see here is for DenSI. So DenSI is our summer institute. It's a week long, basically like a teacher summer camp. It's a lot of fun. I went last year, it was in Utah. This year it's going to be outside of Chicago at Loyola, I can't even say that word, Loyola. I can never say it. But it's in July, and so we do have applications that you can register for now. I think the cost is about $1,200. But for the whole week, that includes your lodging, your food. You will be paired with teachers of your same content areas and grade levels, so you'll spend the whole week collaborating and learning and growing with them. So it's a really fun experience. You can get your school to send you. I'd highly recommend registering. It's a great professional learning experience, and you make a lot of lifelong connections to other educators. And then lastly up here, you'll see join the conversation. So along with connecting you to educators, there are a lot of discussion boards that you can come in and find. If you're looking, when you came in today, Patty was taking pictures with the green screen. If you go in and search green screen, you can find some threads about how people are utilizing green screen, maybe what apps they're using, whatever they're doing with them in their classrooms. So a great place for you to come and kind of see what other teachers are doing. Scrolling down, we've also got some community favorites. So some of our DEN educators have shared stuff in Discovery Education that they find a lot. Up here we mentioned before, SOS strategies are one of our most popular assets, and so you'll see that a lot throughout the site. We've also incorporated those student-facing videos in here as well. And then this section right here is new, DE in action. We've gone into some classrooms that are using Discovery Education and filmed their classrooms, so you guys can see some real-life examples of how you could integrate this. So within there you'll find how you could use this in a one-on-one setting. If you're not one-to-one with technology at your school, how you could use this maybe for station activities or for centers. Student research, so there's a lot of really great non-scripted real-life classroom examples within there. They've also curated some of our featured studio boards, so again, those ones that are pre-created. This title right here is STEM Careers in the Navy. So STEM's, we've got a lot of STEM resources in here, and I'll show you in a bit where you can access those, and a lot of career connections, so you can find some of the favorites within here. And then lastly, within the DEN, these are DEN-inspired ideas and community presentations, so stuff that our educators have shared. They've developed maybe presentation resources on our behalf, and they've wanted to share them with you. So if you're interested, maybe learning about how Discovery Education pairs with Google, there's one in there from one of our DEN stars about how to use it with Google. If you're looking for some literacy support, there's some resources in here developed for literacy support. So a lot of really great assets that teachers have shared with us that we wanted to highlight and put feedback in. So I've talked about I've shared a lot of stuff today. Anything that I've talked about today, you can find resources to help support within professional learning. So this is your PD on demand session. On any page within Discovery Education, you'll see this little bell icon in the right corner. If you click on that, you can find some product walkthroughs, as well as do live chat during business hours if you just have a quick question or maybe a tech issue. You can also find out what new resources have been added in here as well. But professional learning is going to be your one-stop shop for everything that you need to help support you with this resource. So that's where we're going to go into next. I can also access the Professional Learning Center from this waffle menu up here. It has the same headings as on that first page. So if you're on any of the pages, you don't have to navigate back to home. You can just come to the waffle menu and access it from there as well. So within professional learning, you'll find some resources for learning. So if you need some additional support, maybe you want to go back and figure out how you can assign content to your students. There's step-by-step guides that you can access, self-guided resources, as well as an interactive course. So if you want to go back and kind of share Discover Education, but maybe don't want to do a presentation for your staff, you could share these resources with them. They could take a 30-minute self-guided course and kind of get familiarized with the resource, as well as some resources for students exploration. So how to help students, teaching or students how to organize resources, how to just kind of build that research mindset. I had mentioned before our SSO option, so there's stuff in here as well for SSO. And if you did want to come and take this back to your school, we have some professional learning toolkits. So you can find the deck that I have from today. I've pulled from here the top 5 things to know. You can go back and download this and edit it as you see fit, and you can share that with your staff as well. There's also some in here for some of those hot topics we mentioned before, social emotional learning, how you can use Discovery to help support literacy, global citizenship, STEM. So a lot of resources in here to help support you with sharing. Another place or another frequently accessed asset are our virtual field trips. So all of our virtual field trips that we've done are archived within here. A lot of our virtual field trips come from our corporate partnerships. And so we'll have a relationship with a corporate partner. They'll create resources based on a certain topic that they're doing. So there's one on that we have with LG called Discover Your Happy. And that talks about the science behind happiness, which is a great one, but you can come in and search all of the virtual field trips. They're not just videos, they have classroom activities that pair along with them, some like pre-video and post-video resources within there for you as well, and you can filter by the subject area. So again, we're not just talking about our core subjects here, we want to expose students to the real life.
Can you just find one and play it so that he can fix the audio?
Oh, yeah.
But he needs to hear, we need to hear that stuff. So just play any material. Yeah, but we need to hear that it's like, that's what I'm saying.
So this is one called Stronger Than Hate, which is a really great one about talking about bullying within your school. I know that's a huge issue that we've got going on. So this virtual field trip is about that.
Thanks.
You're welcome. No, you're good.
Hundreds of students are still in Douglas now carrying emotional trauma.
I went through a horrible experience last year. I feel really deeply.
Your name, you're not like a human being.
Don't want the paintings to have the weight of the person's testimony within the actual painting.
What's your message to future generations?
To tolerate each other.
If you put yourself in their shoes, and if you try and see things from their perspective, that could really change the world for better.
So this one's great. It's a partnership with the Shoah Foundation. It talks with survivors of the Holocaust and just talks about what is hate, what is bullying, why are people mean. There are parts to this partnership that go behind the science and the social behaviors, but it also talks with students about like what they witness, maybe like some personal testimonies about how bullying has affected their life, why it's such an important thing that we need to discuss with our students and help them learn how to manage and deal with and hopefully prevent. So the virtual field trips are great for getting your students exposed to something that maybe they are not exposed to. They just did one with the polar bears. So something that they might not ever experience, so it can be something like that, or it could go into, there's a lot of them that are related to the workforce. So if you go in and search by the subject area, financial literacy, STEM careers, tech and manufacturing. So especially for your middle and high school students, as we're talking about career and college readiness, you can expose them to a lot of different opportunities through the virtual field trips. Like I mentioned before, a lot of those virtual field trips come from our educational partnerships. So with the partnerships, you can come in here and search as well through whatever maybe concept that you're looking for, modality, and you can find resources that we've co-created with them to help support some of these things. So a big one that we have is STEM going on right now with the STEM career coalitions, creating those real life examples. Health and wellness, social emotional learning. So there's a lot of great content within here, whether it be virtual field trips or activities that you can do with your classroom. And all of these resources are free, so definitely I would suggest checking them out. There's a lot of really great stuff within here. Did someone have a question? So here, I'll go back to the top so I can show you exactly. So I am in professional learning right now, and then I scroll down to the bottom, and in the second column right here, there's a tab that says Educational Partners. Underneath Strategies and Resources. And then if you scroll down on this page at the bottom, you'll be able to find the different partnerships that we have organized by that concept. And then lastly, I wanted to show you guys our Hot Topics section. So we've talked a lot today about how Discover Education is more than just your core subjects and videos on demand. So Hot Topics in Education, if you can come in and search through resources or see how Discovery can support these main hot topics. Coming down, we've got differentiated instruction for your English language learners, college and career readiness, which we're doing a session on next. High order thinking skills. So there's a lot of really great stuff within here that you can help share within your staff. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Do you have any questions or anything that you'd like to see? Okay, great. Patty and I are going to select a number from the bit.ly form that you guys filled out or the QR code you scanned and do a raffle. And then we've also got the green screen up here, so if you didn't before the session, you want to get a picture with your head in a shark mouth and email it to yourself, so take it back to your students, pretty funny, or you can tweet that. Patty,
I just need a minute because I lost internet connection.
Oh, okay, perfect. Is it in this room?
All right, I need a number between 1 and 37.
Brianna, you pick the number. 1 and 37. 1 to 37.
21. 21.
All right.
1 second. Hopefully. All right. 21. Let's see. Oh, somebody accidentally picked literacy, but that's okay. I knew you were going to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kristen Perry, are you here? Oh, she left? I need another number. 33. 33. All right. Tammy Saxton, are you here? Awesome.
Tammy, come on up. We've got Discover Education headphones. There is a phone charger, a pop socket, some Google glasses.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Tammy. All right, if anyone wants to get their picture taken, feel free to come on up. Otherwise, you guys enjoy the rest of your conference. Thanks for spending some time with us today.
Thank you.
Who wants to be in a shark's mouth? I know you do.
I do.
Come on over.
I do.
Okay, right there.
Oh, and I'll put the Bitly form back up here. Again, we'll mail out all the decks from our session, so if there was another one you wanted to attend and you weren't able to, like the college or career readiness, we have a literacy one this afternoon, all the decks will be posted and emailed out later this week. So if you didn't get that code before, I'm putting it back up on the board now.
Wait, let's see. It's not coming up. Yeah, there you go.
Anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns? Need help with anything? Got a couple minutes? You're welcome.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, all right, thank you. You're welcome. All right. Step on up to my shark mouth lair. All right. Stretch out a little bit. Yeah, that's awesome. There you go. Email? There you go. Right, you have to make a connection with us.